Live from the top of the Gallo Mountain at Airfield Turlet, each day the skies here tell a new story. Welcome to our daily recap of today's highlights, from bold moves in the air to surprises on the field. Bringing you all the action, insights, and a few glider secrets, your host for tonight, Sander Terpstra.
And good evening, race fans. It was today race day number 4. We had a quite interesting day, I believe, with hard conditions. We won't do a podium today because we have a special tonight. My special guest from Germany, Michael Sommer, the 5-time world champion. And we asked the audience during the day to send in all the questions for you. So, yeah, I read the questions, but it's always a bit exciting what happens next. You started off in club class, I believe.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, like most of us, I started with 14, which was already, let me think, more than 35 years ago, and started with LS1F, a club class in the junior times. Flew all the junior qualifications, nationals, and the European Championship. Yeah, that's how it all started.
And then from the LS1, out of the blue, there came a Nimbus.
Big surprise, absolutely.
Nimbus
Yeah.
4.
Absolutely, yeah. So this was in Germany. There's always a plane donated by Lady Inet Patchett, who always donated a glider for the German juniors, and that has been different gliders over time. Before I came, it was a discus, and then all of a sudden, Lady Inet died, and I think in her last will, she basically decided to buy the best glider for the juniors, which was a Nimbus 4. And at the beginning, it was just a rumor, and then very quickly it came out. Okay, I can have it for 2 years, which was quite amazing. Yeah.
For 2 years, I believe.
Yes.
So, if there would have been a discus, it would have turned out completely different, maybe.
I also would have loved the discus, yeah.
Oh,
but
okay.
Probably, most likely, I would not have ended up in open class, yeah. Most likely, yeah.
And
But even, I mean, the step from the LS1F to the discus also would have been amazing for me.
Yes,
yeah?
of course.
But of course, to the Nimbus, it was even more amazing, and yeah, it was really the initial start of something, yeah, for me.
And then after the Nimbus quickly became the 29.
No, it was the 22 BLE
Oh,
first.
the 22 for 10
exactly.
years.
So,
Yes,
so it was like this 2 years. I had the Nimbus 4, and I could prove myself a little. And then I made all the contacts around, and I was really, really lucky that Dr. Herbert Martin said, okay, this young guy, he flies so well, I give him my 22 BLE for the competitions. And that's basically what happened. So I was at home, I was continuing flying LS1F. But for the competition, I was so lucky to be able to step into the 22 BLE, and I was really, well, first of all, very motivated, very happy, but also very fortunate then to continue that.
And I think the 22 is probably the most beautiful glider ever made.
For me, definitely at the time, it was always
to see it.
Always, exactly. It was always a goal. It was very far away. I would have never thought I would ever reach this, yeah, to be able to sit in this glider as a junior with this wing and the handling. It was really fantastic. Yeah.
How cool is that? And what I was wondering, because it's sport, you're a top sports pilot for a long time now. Do you feel it really is a sport?
I think definitely it is a sport. Yeah, it's a mental game. Like I think in any other sports, when you're at the top end, in the end, it's mental topics that divide the winners from the not winners, I would say. And it needs training, it needs preparation, it needs the right mindset. Definitely, it is a sport. Yeah.
And how important for you is the combination between the sport and then afterwards, let me call it the Gemütlichkeit?
It is, yeah, that's a very good question. So, and I was wondering, because the last days everybody was asked, okay, what is the decisive? Give the juniors one thing, what makes a difference? And maybe I'm too early now, but I would add my portion to this. And my portion to this is, yes, of course, you have to fly a lot, of competition, and you need coaches and all of this, yeah. the most important thing is you have to keep the fun in it.
Yeah.
You have to make it fun. If you're so overwhelmed by all these targets that you set yourself and pressure, and I want to reach this and I want to reach that, it can very quickly happen that you get demotivated when it doesn't happen like that, because that's how sports works. Like today or yesterday, it doesn't always quite work out the way you want. And but if the fun in all of this, in gliding, is the first thing that comes to mind, then you can go a long way. Yeah. And to me, this was, yes, the fun in gliding, but it was always the fun also in being together, let's say, with friends from different nations, and to spend time. And that's contributed also. For me, it contributes.
Maybe when the stress level is so high and the focus is so high during these big competitions, then on the other hand, you need the Gemütlichkeit.
Yes, and you need to wind down.
Yeah, wind down.
And if I would go back to, let's say, hotel room and think about, okay, where's my list of things I did wrong, and I have to write it down, and for next day I have to do new targets, then I would probably wake up the next morning in a miserable state, and that's not what you want.
And yesterday you asked me, where's your clubhouse? Because we still have to look at our clubhouse, look at our simulator. We'll fly tomorrow together after the briefing.
Looking forward to it.
And then I was thinking, he's been all around the entire world. What's the best clubhouse? Where is it?
Oh, oh, that's a hard question. So let me think. In Lüsse, probably. Peter's here, so there's always Calperinia at the end of the flight. This was quite nice. And yeah, that's probably one of the best clubhouses, I would say.
Because I called a lot of people to collect the stories about you, and a lot of them can't make it to the internet. So, but I heard there was a beautiful clubhouse in Eskilstuna.
Oh yes.
Because there is no clubhouse. Okay. It actually is a sauna where everybody has a beer and talks after the race. Okay. And I think that yeah, for me that would be one of the best clubhouses in the world.
Makes sense, yeah.
And now here for you, I can see it on the camping site, the Gemütlichkeit with your friends, the German pilots. Very important. You're a very nice guy and always friendly, even in the morning, without the coffee. And but does that change in the air? Are you still friendly, or can you become a little bit feisty in competition?
No, I think to me it's like this. I think everybody's different. To me it's like this: when I step in the glider, I'm in a different state. So I can have before maybe some trouble or whatever else, things going on, right, which don't fit the glider, something is wrong, doesn't fit, or very often I have my family with all the children around and everybody's screaming or whatever else. When I close the canopy, then I'm all relaxed and I'm all fully with the flight, and all of this, what is around or what has been there before, is all gone more or less. And then I'm pretty rational and pretty relaxed, I guess, and a
competitive killer.
Yeah, oh well, I wouldn't call it like this. Yeah.
And then, because you talk about your family, I heard they normally come with you to the bigger events. You have 5 children.
5 world titles.
I have 1.
Children, yes.
You see her every morning. I have 1. It's a handful, I believe. But you have 5 children.
Absolutely.
And still combining it with the big competitions.
Yes. So for me, it was never a question if I take them along, because a lot of people said, "Oh, you go to the world gliding competition. It's better to have your own space and don't bring your kids or whatever else." But for me, it was never a question. As long as they still want to come, then to me that's not negotiable, and I have to make it with it, and I'm doing it, and it's much better when they're there. And
we would have had a really nice zoo.
Nice what?
A zoo.
A zoo, yes,
if that
next
comes
time,
to
maybe.
Next time,
yeah, when there's holiday.
And then Ronald de Maat called me, and he said, for his knowledge, you're mostly flying competitions. Do you fly a lot of hours outside competitions?
It's probably the other way around. I fly, to be honest, I fly as little competition as possible. because so very intensive work with family, I really reduced it to one competition per year, which so that was also, and we'll get to that. That's also part of the story, that I haven't been flying Grand Prix for the last, I don't know, 15 years or something, because it's just too much. I can't do everything. So I had to decide, okay, I have to concentrate on one thing, and that's open class. Fly one year the national, the other year the World Gliding Championship, if that works out. And but otherwise, what I really enjoy a lot also is just to fly at home when there's big weather, and have a dream task made up. And when the weather's coming, then I love to really use the full day.
First terminal until the last terminal.
Exactly. Take off first possible ever, yeah, and land very late, 11 hours sometimes, maybe longer. And that's what I enjoy the most. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Ronald told me a different story. He said he's really a competition guy.
No.
No,
One competition per year. Yeah, it has been for a long time.
Okay. Maybe because Ronald is flying.
Yeah, he only meets me at the competition. Yeah,
okay.
That's why.
A quick from the race fans. A quick question in between. We opened like a question box on Instagram, and they all came in. Robin Smith, he's starting off a junior pilot from the south. No, Robin Smith is really is a good pilot from the Netherlands. If you could start your career all over with the knowledge you have now, what would you have done different?
Probably nothing. Probably nothing. No, I can't think of one thing. It's all about having the joy and being motivated, and go out there, try your thing, and don't be discouraged when things go wrong. Don't beat yourself up. And would I have done anything? I can't think of anything, to be honest.
Okay. Well, it can
but
be a
at the
strange
same
question
time, but at the same time, it was never the goal, let's say, to become a world champion or to collect titles or something. That was never the goal. The goal was always to have fun in gliding, and that's what I do. Yeah.
And that's what you still do.
Yeah.
You had a second question. If you had to choose between the following 4 topics, which one for you is the most important to train, and why? Or maybe if you could choose to be stronger in one of these topics, where would you become stronger in? Is that mentally?
For me personally.
Yeah, for you personally. Is it mentally? Is it physically? Is it practicing, so just building the hours? Or is it the theory?
Probably practicing. And actually, in actual fact, that's what I'm doing here. Yeah. Because, as I said, I haven't been flying enough competitions. I have been flying always, let's say, open class, where I know everybody and where I know what more or less what to expect. And so it was for me a conscious decision to come here, to go back to Grand Prix flying, go back to 18-meter class also, because there's more competitors. There's young guns, yeah, like Simon and Stefan or what. I want to compete against them. Yeah. I'm already a little bit older now, and I want to see, okay, how do I go with this? And I need more practice, also in competition flying.
And talking about the 18-meter class, are you happy in it?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I mean the gliders, all of them are fantastic. I mean you can see it, the way it handles, the way you can center thermals and all of that is a real joy, I have to say.
You don't miss machines. The other 10 meters.
Well, it's straight flying. Sometimes I miss it, but it's both of it is very good. Yeah.
Okay, super. Then Tim Kuipers came in. He joined my WhatsApp. He said, "We now know that you're the best in open class. We can conclude that. But Sebastian Cava does not seem to dare to move to the open class. Are you willing to move to Sebastian Cava's class to make a big clash of the titans, like standard or 50 meter?"
Yeah, I think that Sebastian is in a completely different league in a way that he is. So if I look at all of us, we're all amateurs, right? Yeah. We're all amateurs because we have a normal job usually, right? And this is just a hobby. Yeah, for Sebastian, it's not a hobby. It's a profession more or less. Yeah?
Yeah.
He stepped out of his work like 10 years ago, and that's all what he does. And of course, by this, he's really on a professional level. Yeah?
Would you like to beat him one day?
Yes, I think he should come to open class. Yeah? That's what I would suggest.
Or maybe join you in another GP in 80-meter class, a meet in the middle.
Let's see.
And then Mark Lohman, he's from the Twente. If you have won as much... Huh? Oh, you've won so much. Are there still challenges open for you, goals to achieve?
It's not goals like adding another 3 titles. No. 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 If it happens, I'm really happy, but not goals like this. No. Probably the goal is continuing having fun, learning more.
Gemütlichkeit.
Yeah, be curious, also learn new things. And don't get hung up about those stupid targets. Yeah? To say I need a 6th title. Yeah? That's not the target. That's not a good target.
So the target itself could slow you down.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes. To me, for me, it's like this. For others, for Sebastian, it might be different. He might get motivated by this. I don't. So it's more like. I want to have fun in gliding, yeah? And when I'm winning along the way, then even better. Yeah?
Okay. Then Benjamin Buys from Haamstede. Which World Cup is the most important to you? You've already have 5 world titles. Where do you get your drive to keep performing? Well, that's the same question. What's your golden tip if you're low? Do you have a fixed routine to get away with it? What's your
So when you're low, so first of all, I think the most important thing is stay calm. Yeah. So it's this emotional stability which you need on a high level, which is really important. Don't get excited when you're in front of everybody and when you're much higher than everybody, but also don't get anxious when you're down low and others pass you 300 meters higher. Yeah? Keep your calm and have the wide angle of view. And only think of your own situation, only think of your flight, don't think of the others that are passing you 1,000 meters above, that is of no matter to you. Yeah.
Keep it small.
Yes, concentrate on yourself.
I mostly think by myself, there's a little voice that tells me you came off the winds this morning at 300 meters, so at 400 meters it's not low.
Yeah.
You could find a thermal then, so
absolutely, yeah.
Just start over again. And then Sam, he's 15 years old, from Dalen, the airfield next to us. Hey Michael, how do you find thermals, especially when the sky is blue? I usually have a hard time finding them, and I'm on the ground within 5 minutes.
Yeah, it depends on the situation, of course. It depends on where you are, but let's say here, following the forest might be a good idea. And but when you're very high, when you're in 2,000 meters, probably just flying straight on course is not a bad idea, and just wait for something to happen.
So he could maybe improve his knowledge about how thermals.
Yes.
Because then you can read the ground a little bit more as well.
Yes.
Okay. And then he says, oh no, that's Yurun Mayer from the GLC Illustrious. What weather do you find most fun to fly gliding competitions in? Is it thermal, wave or grids?
Well, yeah, the thermals usually. So because everything else is involving mountains, and mountains is, you need a lot of local knowledge. It's also more dangerous or so. And but of course, when you know the area, then this also is really exciting. Yeah. But let's say standard for us, of course, is let's say the World Championships for the last 20 years where I have competed. They always have been without mountains, and that's the standard for us. Yeah.
And then he asks for training cross-country flying. Is it better to set the longest flight of the day, or set a task wherein you can fly the fastest? For training?
For training, probably a set task would be better, I guess.
A smaller task?
Yes.
And work on your speed?
Yes.
Okay. Jeroen, set a task. And then somebody called Roelof Corporaal, don't know. How do you build your final glides? Because what I see on the glider trekking, you're an absolute legend building final glides. Is there a way? Is there a nav box on your relics? Is there a setting? Do you climb until McCready and then just fly McCready home, or do you build your or do you start off McCready 0 and then climb up to a McCready level, or what's the?
I think, as usually, it all depends on the situation. Yeah? Are you on your own? Is it blue? Do you have clouds? You have a cloud street in front of you. Of course, you will act differently. Yeah? You will probably leave the thermal below the height, and with the high McCready try to make it up. And but here in the Grand Prix, of course, and we can see everybody's really aggressive and really trying to leave the thermal first. And it's definitely like this when you have gliders in front of you, that you can see how everybody's moving. And with this, you can leave probably also a little bit lower, below the height, and try to make it up along the way, even in the blue.
Yeah, because
that's what we did a number of times, of course.
Because sometimes when I watch the glider trekking, it feels like a guess, but they're always the same names, making the guess and winning with it. So it's not a guess. It's not gambling.
I think what I did is that you have to train this when you've done this 100 times. And then you sort of get the feeling, you know, how the air is moving and what potential is still in there. And by this, you set your margins, you decrease the margins, or you have to increase the margins. And it really comes with experience that you know, okay, I can try this now below the height, and I try to make it up. If it doesn't work, I know I will find a quick thermal to make 2 or 3 circles. I think it's a lot with experience. Yeah, you have to, and therefore, let's say when you're at home, at your home airfield, try to make a final glide every day and learn from it.
Okay, cool. The Roelof Corporaal, yeah, he called me. He was over the moon because he overtook you on the finish line by a half a second.
Yeah, he did.
So he was just a small child. Oh, it's the sound of the police. And then about the GP, you told me it's been a while. Do you like it?
Usually I like bigger tasks. Yeah, I like to use the day, right? But this concept also, let's say, with everybody starting at the same time, it's very powerful, I have to say. And all the gliders in the air at the same time. I have to say, in open class, very often I try to make my own thing, start at the end of the line where nobody can see me, and I fly very often the whole flight more or less on my own. You know? Yeah. And but here, because everybody is so closely together, you really can see how you perform, how the others perform, and you see, okay, my goodness, yeah, it's not so optimal, yeah. So others find the way in a better way, and it's really the best way to learn very quickly. Yeah, because it's so condensed, I have to say, and also to make it only 2 or 2.5 hours is with this, for this intensity of flight, I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You don't want to do this for 10 hours, I would say.
And for your children at home to follow.
Yeah, also, yeah.
And because for today, I spoke a couple of pilots and they all said the same. It was sometimes a little bit uncomfortable, all the giggling and the giggling, and different people tried different things, but it didn't work out, and then the gaggle came together again. For tomorrow, I believe the conditions, I think this is part of something like a colder air mass coming in, but for tomorrow the conditions will improve. We'll have some cumulus maybe. Will it make it the Grand Prix flying maybe a little bit better to make your own?
It will make it much better for sure. I think in blue conditions, of course, nobody knows what is ahead, what the conditions will be. Everybody is sticking together and everybody is scared a little, and and it has been shown also, let's say, the last few 2 days, when you try to add own creativity to it, go in front, do something completely different, it's very often not rewarded. Yeah.
No.
When you have clouds and when you have high cloud base, then it's completely different. Yeah. Then all of a sudden there's 20 different people and they see 20 different ways of which way you can fly.
Yeah.
And there's very many possibilities for variations, and this is what makes it interesting. Yeah.
And then your experience and can maybe be this more decisive in the choices you make.
Could be, but at least everybody can do their own flight.
Yeah.
And then do they win or do they don't win? That's a different story. But everybody can follow their own path and have their own ideas and try to make this happen. And of course, then all of a sudden the gaggle just disappears.
Okay, cool. I think that's it. All my questions are gone.
Thank you, Sam.
I want to say thank you very much for joining me here at the Gallo Mountains with the
you.
audience. Thank you very much all.
Appreciate it.
I would say good evening and enjoy a beer. The fridge is still full. And tomorrow there will be race day number 5. 5 race days in Holland. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Good night.
Thank you.